Hello, I'm horceror. I want to find out what makes every single killer tick. There's one big glaring issue with that though. I play the Nemesis, essentially only the Nemesis. I physically cannot get thousands of hours of experience on every single character. So, I'm going to be interviewing people that do have those thousands of hours. One for every single killer. Welcome to Stars of the Fog. Alright, hello, and welcome back to Stars of the Fog. Today's episode, we're going to be covering the killer that's a little bit rootin', a little bit tootin', but boy howdy, does he be shootin'. My guest today is a very established Deathslinger player, and, well, I'll just let him introduce himself. My guest now, who are you? What are you known for, and why Slinger?
Howdy, I'm ZzZapples. I'm known for playing the slinging killer, and why Slinger? Well, I just love shooting. I just love tooting whatever she said. And honestly, I played Red Dead Redemption, and that was kind of the start of it. And then here we are. I have uploaded a few YouTube videos, which are about a year old now, on slinging killer, and hoping to start back up soon.
And you did just say that you're, gonna be off this next week or so. Not that
yes,
this video is gonna be out by then, but
right. Hopefully by the time this video's out, yeah, I'll already streamed a little bit here and there.
So let's start at the very beginning. Slinging, rootin', tootin', shootin'. What got you into Dead by Daylight, and when did you start?
So I actually played when the game first came out, but I thought it was really dumb because I didn't know you could play as killers. I thought the killers were all like AI, and I just thought it was really boring doing gens, so I took a break until like 2021. So that's when I started getting into it, right before Nemesis came out.
Convenient.
And I only did because my friends convinced me again, and then a month later they stopped playing the game, of course, but I stuck around.
That's kind of exactly the exact same thing that happened for me. I started playing a little bit in like 2017. I played like 100 hours with my friends, and then they quit, so I quit, and then I came back in 2021. And here we are now.
Here we are.
So what got you into Deathslinger? You did mention briefly Red Dead Redemption, but what was like the selling point? What made you decide to first fully main Slinger? And like you did play a little bit of Survivor, but did you play Survivor first? And if so, about how long did you play that role before you swapped over to Killer?
So I'd only played Survivor with my friends. I'd hardly ever solo queue. And then once they kind of left the game, I just picked up Killer. I didn't play Slinger at first. I didn't have him. I played like Wraith. And then I mained Huntress for a while because I like range killers. I have like 5,000 hours, I think, in Counter-Strike. And I grew up like playing Call of Duty, pretty much any shooter game. So I knew I was going to play a ranged killer. And I think I picked up Slinger in 2023, the beginning of 2023. I played him a bit before that, but I only started maining him then just because there was like so many Huntress mains and Trickster was just not it. And I don't know, like I only got compliments when I played Slinger. Like survivors in the endgame chat, the only killer I'd ever get compliments on was Slinger. So I guess I thought there was like something special there. So
a little bit
of course,
feedback loop,
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I played Red Dead, my favorite game of all time. I just love cowboys and main Cassidy and Overwatch. Just always been my thing. So it just kind of works out, just kind of perfect.
When you were growing up, that whole like pirate ninjas cowboys question, like not even a competition.
Oh yeah, no, it's cowboys. Plus I grew up in South Texas, so
I was born in Texas. I moved out when I was 5, but yeah. Yeah,
it's just I've always been surrounded by that kind of like culture, I guess, and grew up watching those movies, old school Western, like Clint Eastwood movies. So it's just always been my thing. And I've kind of based some of my YouTube videos, like I've used a lot of Western music. I think people like that.
It's important to have a theme for sure.
Yeah. I just saw the vision and went with it,
Yeah, for sure. Well, aside from the compliments thing, what is like your number one favorite part about playing Slinger? Like anything at all? I don't necessarily mean like, oh, I just like this hat. It can be like a tech, a visual, a sound, like literally anything at all. What is your number one favorite part about Slinger?
It's got to be the holes. I just love shooting holes, especially if the person's streaming and I can see their reaction when they're so caught off guard. And then, or even if I get like accusations at the end, they're like, oh, you're shooting me through walls. Like I've had so many people report me.
That's
and
really
it's just kind of, it's just, I love showing people that I'm going against things in the game that they don't know about yet,
Yeah, Squirtle did a very similar thing with Huntress every time I see him.
Yeah.
There's like a new hole that he hits
Exactly.
me through.
Yeah, that too. And like orbitals, like when I first saw orbitals, I was really like shocked because, you know, you just don't see that in your games. You see like, you know, your trappers, your wraiths, like it's just kind of the same gameplay every time. But, you know, whenever something hits you so off guard, like that's definitely my favorite part. Plus the sounds are really satisfying to me. Like the reload, the reeling it in sound, it's just chef's kiss.
And the shot itself, I assume.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in indoor maps, that echo.
Oh yeah, for certain. But yeah, Squirtle, literally, as far as the things that people aren't used to, he hit me with an orbital, and I got put in a clip compilation. That's how we met each other.
Oh no. Oh no. I'd be honored, honestly.
It was definitely something. I got nervous, and every like Huntress he put the fear of God in me every time I see a Huntress.
I wish I would get Squirtle in my games. I've never gone against a good Huntress somehow.
Are you NA West?
Like ever. East.
That would be why.
Wait, I've had Ralph. I don't know if you know Ralph, right?
I
I've had him
love him,
once. Yeah. He's good.
Of
I've
course,
had him.
yeah.
But I just want to get hit by an orbital so bad.
You're just like, okay, well, you're going for it. Like, I got you, sure.
I gotta give him the clip. I know what it's like to have your clip stolen from you. I gotta give it out.
And you mentioned like the bang and the reverberation indoors on maps. Do you have like a specific map that you like the absolute most? And are your like personal favorite maps and least favorite maps, are they the same as your killer's best maps and worst maps?
I would say some of them are, but my favorite map definitely is not. It's probably surprising to a lot of people, not really people that have watched me for a while, because I've talked about this map a lot, but it's Gideon Meat Plant. It's my favorite map just because you could shoot through like literally anything on that map pretty much. All the yellow grates, like any grate.
You can shoot
Like
you can shoot through that?
Yeah, you can.
That's fucked up.
And that catches survivors off guard more
Catching
than
me
like
off
anything
guard.
else. Yeah. And the only thing you can't shoot through is like the stairs. Like if you're on the stairs, you can't shoot like on the bottom through them, if that makes sense. But other than that, you can pretty much shoot through anything.
Wow.
And on top of that, I just feel like Gideon is one of the better indoor maps in general. It's just more open. Like, because his worst map, I'm sure we'll get to that later, but his worst map is definitely like Larry's for me.
Yeah.
Just because it's so cluttered. Like his worst maps are things that have a lot of LOS breaking.
And a lot of random shit on the floor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Gideon, it's nice and open. Plus, you could shoot through everything. That's my favorite.
I mean, Gideon's my favorite map too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Nemesis.
got that in common. Yeah. Yep. Like one of his best maps is definitely Wrecker's Yard, which is also one of my favorite just killer maps in general. I just think it's, unless I'm playing an M1 killer, it's pretty fair, I think. It's pretty open. The loops are always, the loops are pretty predictable, and there's good RNG, bad RNG, whatever. But think about slingers, you could shoot through like most of the loops on auto haven maps too. And I would just say Wreckers, just since it doesn't have a main building, is one of his better maps.
Because it just has a shack, right?
Yeah, and shack is his playground. Like you can always at least get an injure at shack, like easily.
Just shoot him. What are they gonna do? Dodge it? Come on.
Exactly.
You briefly brought up Larry's as a pretty big dislike, but on the same subject, not necessarily a map, but for the killer itself, I did previously ask, like, what's your favorite bit of it? What is your absolute, like, least favorite part of Deathslinger that's like, if the goods didn't exist, this would be, like, grounds to drop him, if anything?
Well, it's definitely has been grounds to drop him because I've had to take breaks just because I'm tired of it. And there's a couple things, but the main thing that's just a part of who he is he's slow. He has no map mobility whatsoever. And like, I'm sure we'll get into like things I'd want to change about him, but I definitely miss his 24-meter tear radius because at least you could get closer to survivors before they could just book it across the map.
Yeah.
And that's just the worst thing. Like you get close, they hear you, they run. And if you miss a shot, then you're just not going to catch them for like a minute. If they're smart, you know, they could just run across the map.
Yeah, because
that's why I play.
110.
Yeah, he's 4.4. And sometimes I'll just play Blight or Wesker or whoever, just so it's like the complete opposite. I need that opposite. I need to go fast.
Have a little bit of some variance in your day-to-day. That makes sense, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And since you brought it up so naturally yourself, what would you change, if anything? Like, if you could, like anything from accessibility, the kit, balance, vibe, just whatever. Is there anything problematic? Like, what are you changing?
I think he's in a pretty good spot. Like, balance-wise, I think he's pretty good. I think he has his clear upsides and downsides, fair counterplay. I just change more like smaller things and like add-ons too. He definitely needs an add-on pass.
For sure.
But as far as like major things, I'd say give him his 24-meter tear radius back. I don't really know why he deserved to have that nerfed and the ADS nerf all in the same update, because he wasn't even like, okay, the ADS nerf was needed. I don't know if you played him before that.
You could quick scope,
Like,
right?
yeah, it was just unfair. And that was like, there wasn't too many like really great slingers back then, I think. But today it would just be completely unfair. So I give him his 24-meter tear radius back for sure. And then I think he could, like, I know recently, last year, a few months ago, he got his, not even like his full brown reload add-on base kit, but his reload is a bit faster base kit. His chain break is a little bit faster, I think. Like the stun, I think they could have bumped those numbers up a little bit more, because like if we're going to talk about add-ons, he only has like maybe 5 or less that are even worth bringing.
I feel that.
He as a Nemesis player for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause I used the main Nemesis too. I don't know if I mentioned that. He was like, yeah, before Huntress, I played a lot of Nemi, but yeah, I know the struggle for that. I always bring reload add-ons because he has some other cheese add-ons you could bring, which we'd get into, like Bayshore Cigar, which reduces his stun when he breaks a chain by 0.5 seconds, I believe, which is just ridiculous for zoning. It's really stupid. I think it shouldn't be a thing, because I think to give value, you have to play him in a more boring way, right?
Right.
I know everyone hates zoning, and I do
not
too,
healthy,
usually.
like add-on design, you'd say?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, that's not healthy. So I think if you're going to nerf anything, nerf that. I think make some of his other like brown tier rarity add-ons, just make it base kit. And then I'm not going to go over like every possible add-on he could have, but I think his add-ons are so boring. And I'm sure, you know, as an ME player, you could kind of feel that, right?
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 reasonably.
Yeah.
And like while we're talking about it, how do you feel about his add-ons? Like mostly just from a balance perspective, do you think they're overtuned, undertuned? What are your favorites to run? And like, this is just kind of, you know, talk about add-on section. So just go for it.
All right. So like I said, I only bring reload, which would be Warden's Keys, modified ammo belt. I use both of those add-ons every game pretty much, except I kind of ran out of Warden's Keys because I spent all my points like P100 other people. So I run like other stuff because he doesn't exactly need both reload add-ons. It's just, it makes him feel a lot better. So
Sure.
Definitely Warden's Keys would be his, like, you should bring it every game. There's no reason not to bring it every game if you have it. I think his Eries, like we could start as Eries.
Yeah, the iron and the coin.
Yeah, iridescent coin, Hellshire iron. So Eerie coin, I think it's in a good spot. I mean, you have to be 12 meters away to get the exposed hit, and typically, like, I don't know if we're going to get into like play style later, but you know, long shots are pretty common versus like worse players, but the better the players are, I feel like you're going to be hitting them less. But I still think in an average game, you'd get like at least 1 or 2 downs out of it, which is worth it for an Eerie, I think, or free down pretty much.
It's kind of a play style thing too, which I agree. I think that's good design for iridescence, is that if it changes the play style, like that's a well-designed iridescent rather than just, well, most of the time the exposed add-ons are boring, but with Slinger, it's like you have to do a different thing for it. So I think his is good.
Yeah, plus 12 meters, it's not as far as people would think, really. So you could definitely get a lot of value, but yeah, I agree. It changes your playstyle a bit, because versus better players, you don't want to go for those shots as much just because it's too risky usually, especially if you are committed to getting that down on them. You want to get them to a loop, right?
Right.
Because that's where he shines. He shines in the 1v1 at a loop, a short loop specifically.
Or one with holes in it.
Yeah, with holes too, which you're not going to get any value out of Eerie Quinn in that situation. So I think that one's pretty balanced. His other Eerie, the Hellshire Iron, it's not even worth like a purple in my opinion. Maybe a purple, maybe like a green. It gives you undetectable for, I believe, 12 seconds after you shoot someone, and you can get some value. It's just, yeah, maybe like I sometimes bring it, like I like to do Stealth Slinger sometimes, and I'll bring it just for the fun of it, but there's never really a reason to bring it if you're trying to win, especially. And even if you're trying to have fun, like 12 seconds of undetectable when they already know where you are, it's not that great.
Yeah, it's just
my
kind of
opinion.
gimmicky.
Very gimmicky.
So like overall, add-ons are like all right at best, but most of them just aren't worth running at all.
It's not as bad as, it's not like Pyramid Head level where there's literally no other option but to run range add-ons.
Run duration.
But yeah, that's true. But still, like he has like
4.
That's it.
Yeah.
But Slinger. The rest of his just kind of reduced cooldowns of stuff like the chain break. Like I said, base or cigar, chewing tobacco, they do the same thing.
Just number stuff.
Yeah, and then he has miss cooldown, which is, I mean, that's good. Like I run that sometimes if I have no more Warden's keys, just so I have something that kind of saves a little bit of time, because I think that's the most important thing with Slinger is saving time since he's so slow. So miss cooldown is definitely, it's fine, it can stay. The rest of his, he has like a couple mangled add-ons. It's like whatever. Most killers have that, right?
Yeah, and then one's like a mangle if they break the chain, and the other's a mangle after you just shoot them with the spike. They don't have to break it, right? Something like that?
You just have to hit them. So one's for hitting them after you reel them, one's for just breaking it. So it's like, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Really. There's no reason. Like he just needs a full rework of add-ons, I think.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have said their ideas, which I think I don't really remember that many off the top of my head, but there's some creative stuff they could do. It's just right now it's just mostly numbers stuff, which could be better, but also could be worse. Like there are killers that suffer worse from this. So I think he's in a decent spot at least.
And as far as being a decent spot, how do you feel about his cosmetic choices? Do you think he has enough of them? Do you think he doesn't have enough of them? And let's just say, you know, thought experiment. If you had full executive control over like behavior, what skin would you have made? And last part, what's your favorite cosmetic set to wear?
Well, I've been campaigning for a poncho skin since I started uploading. I love ponchos. I love, you know, like the man with no name, that kind of look. I've been wanting a skin like that for so long. So I'll still keep complaining to behavior to add a poncho skin, because I can't believe he doesn't have one yet.
It's like iconic
so I guess
cowboy.
Yeah, like so many iconic cowboys with ponchos. But I think his cosmetics could be so much better. They could do so much better. Honestly, like it feels like every time he gets a skin, it's like something like not cowboy-y enough. It's just like he gets like that moth skin, right? It's just his default covered in moths. Then he gets, you know, like the railroad warden skins. It's like just add cowboy stuff. Like that's what people who play this killer want at the end of the day. I only personally think he has like 3 good skins, like 3 full outfits that are good.
Which one?
And that's it. Well, the main one that I use is Double Crossed, which would be like my favorite one, like you were asking about. Which is his tombstone look with a black duster, the black cat with a mustache. That's his best one. Then his other one, it's Frontier Vigilante, which would be, it's like the leather duster with the gloves, the black gloves. I'm sure you've seen that one. That's like most try-hard slingers use that one with a bald head too. Like that one's good. And then his other one, I mean, I like his like no jacket with just the shirt, the bandana. I think those are pretty clean. Oh, another skin. I know I already like gave you a skin that I wanted, but
that's fine.
I think the perfect opportunity, a pirate skin. Just think about it.
Thinking about
he's already pretty much a pirate. I mean, he has a harpoon gun, right?
And a messed up leg.
And messed up leg, exactly. You could have a peg leg and like a talking parrot on his shoulder. Like you see the vision. You could like make fun of the survivors while you're like you shoot them and like the parrot mocks them. Like come on, you can make that a legendary if you want. That's just,
I see the vision.
I do want royalties for that if they add that though.
That's crazy.
And they can make like an undead version too. You know, like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like he's like a skeleton. It's easy money.
And skins obviously they have like lore and stuff like that. And tying into Slinger's backstory, are you like a 100% diehard just Slinger player? Like you just play it for the gameplay and the aesthetic, or like do you enjoy his lore, or is it just the play style, a little bit of A, a little bit of B? What's the like ratio like there for you?
In a game, if they're a cowboy, I'm gonna play them. Like I said, I played Cassidy in Overwatch, so I didn't really like care about his lore at all. Like I read it just because I figured I might as well, right? But I don't read the lore of like any original killers in this game or survivors, whatever. And he got his own tome recently, which I've been wanting for a long time. And I just feel like the skin that they gave him was so mid. He has like the white coat. He kind of looks like Doctor. Like he has that stuff on his face that kind of makes him look like all mangled.
Okay.
And I've always wanted like a younger skin for him because he does have good lore, I think, because he used to be like an outlaw and like a bounty hunter. He's been doing it for a long time. So I've been wanting a young skin for him, but I just feel like the skin they chose was really like they could have done so much better. But overall, I think his lore is good. I don't really care either way, to be honest. Like I play him for the gameplay at the end of the day. And even if he had different gameplay, I'd still probably play him just because he's a cowboy.
Yeah, that's
I
completely
just
fair
can't go wrong.
From what you've told me. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd probably main Slinger, like no matter what. Like even if he had the gameplay of like Skull Merchant, I'd probably still main him just because he's a cowboy.
I don't know how they're setting up drones in the Wild West, but...
Well, fuck it, they'd find a way.
And Skull Merchant, you know, with all of her updates and all that. How do you think Slinger has been treated as far as updates to him have gone? Like, would you say his buffs and his nerfs were fair? And how do you feel the game of Dead by Daylight changing around him? Like perks or maps, all of that have treated him?
I think he used to be a lot better. Like I didn't play him that much before he got his big nerf, which was his ADS nerf, his terror radius nerf. I do think that was fair. I know most people would hate playing against him before, and I think nowadays people don't hate him as much. Like some people love going against him. Like me, I'm a little biased, but
of course, yeah,
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I think it's been good. I think the one thing though that is changing, that's not necessarily for his power or anything, it's just they keep adding collision on certain maps. So certain shots that you used to be able to get are no longer possible, which is also something that's really annoying. And a reason that I don't play him as much is because like for a while there, I didn't play him because they added an invisible wall on the McMillan shack only for the window.
Like the vaulting window or the other side?
No, the other side that's boarded up.
Okay.
But they just randomly added that one patch, and it stayed for like another patch or two. And there's just no reason, like, because if they were gonna, do that for every map, they would have done it then. But like an example is like the excavator on Ormond. You can shoot through like in between the wheels.
I know that because I got hit by it.
You can't do that anymore. They patched it.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it's sad. And there's a few other examples of that. Like I said, I haven't really played consistently in like a year. But I know like there's some on RPD, like you used to be able to shoot above the vents, like the vents outside
on the helicopter crash.
Yeah, you can't shoot over it anymore. Just random collision. You can't, it's like harder to shoot through the stairs on RPD now, like right next to the vents, those stairs, you can't shoot through that anymore as well. And like the fence there, like they keep blocking these shots, and that's the like most unfair thing I think he gets. Other than that, he's not like the most, I guess he is map dependent. Yeah, actually, he is very map dependent, but the newer maps, they aren't terrible. I don't think, not as bad as like most of his worst maps are like some of the older maps, especially like Badham, Larry's, like those are very old maps. So I think he's in a good spot. It hasn't been the changes aren't too bad for him. He's just kind of stayed in his own lane since he got that nerf. He's just kind of hanging out there.
And about what lane is that strength wise? Like how would you rate him? I don't necessarily mean just like let's go look at Otstarva's tier list and take his rating for like tier, but for you, based on your experience, like how good do you think he is really?
I think he's really underrated for the average player. I think most high tier players know his strength, which is why he's played in comp a lot. I mean, not a lot, but a lot more than a decent amount. I think he's like, if I had a tier list him, I put him like bottom A, top B.
Really?
But it depends on the map entirely.
Okay.
If I'm on Rutgers Yard, it's going to be so much different than Larry's or Badham. So I think it's kind of hard to give him an exact rating, but I think he's really good. I think he has one of the best 1v1 chases in the game, especially like at a short loop. Like just for example, like at a short loop on Autohaven, like a tire loop, you're not going to live. Like a good slinger will shoot you 100% of the time. Like even like certain killers like Blight, you could just pre-drop and survive a little bit, but with slinger you can't pre-drop. You're gonna get shot. Yeah, he's just gonna shoot you. So I think he has like a top 5 chase power in the game, to be honest. Yeah, I think he's super underrated.
Okay, so he's super underrated, and that is like a misconception for me. Do you think the Deathslinger in particular has any super common misconceptions, like something that you as a Deathslinger may know, obviously, and that you wish people understood, like if people complain about something and there's just like really obvious counterplay they aren't using, or anything like that?
I think as far as misconceptions go, I see a lot of body blocking, and it's good in a lot of situations. There are counters to it though. Like I can look up as I'm swinging. I can like hit around survivors. I see this a lot like in lower MMR lobbies, and I get hits like that all the time because they don't realize I could do that.
I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, there is there's definitely good body blocking and bad body blocking. and a good body block, it's going to be pretty valuable. But maybe this is just a low MMR thing, but I'll see people try to take hits when there's like no one hooked yet. Like the start of the game, there's just no reason for it. Like that's probably just a low MMR thing, to be honest. But really the only time you should be taking a hit for someone is if they're death hooked. And even then, like you got to get better at body blocking, because I will hit around you like 90% of the time probably. And I think something else, if you're going to take a hit, try to block them on a piece of collision far away so that the chain breaks faster, and make sure you're inside the chain so it breaks faster. Because some people like body block, but they won't even be like inside the chain. So I can just walk up. Well, the chain breaks super slow if there's no collision in it. So I'm going to get that hit like 90% of the time. I think that's a misconception for sure. Knowing when to body block, knowing how to body block properly. A good slinger will get that hit like 90% of the time still.
Yeah, I didn't know about that at all, actually. So that is a misconception for sure.
I can't really think of anything else.
No, I think that's good.
Definitely, like, yeah, I think that's good.
And does Slinger have any other techniques that are maybe less known to people that don't play Slinger, or any like really well-known techniques that you just want to share because you think they're neat?
For sure. I think I would call it a tech just because I know people that would upset people. Like I've called that a tech on Twitter before, and people are like, this isn't a tech, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, everyone wants their little techs because it makes their killer seem more interesting. I don't know if I'd call it a tech, but there is definitely stuff that I do and good slingers do that other slingers don't really do in their games, which would help them a lot. And it mostly has to do with just the chain itself. Like I said, when you're doing that, you know, hitting around a body blocker thing, you look up. You want to do stuff like that when you shoot a survivor. And then let's just say there's like a low loop in front of you, lower to, you know, maybe there's a few objects that are a little bit taller. You want to look up so your chain kind of goes at an angle, because the more collision that's inside your chain, the quicker it breaks. So you can get more hits by looking up, like just moving your camera up, look at the sky. It's going to want to drop back down to like, you know, eye level, but just keep moving your mouse up or whatever, your joystick up.
It's like fishing.
And that, yeah, exactly. And just, it'll make your chain go at like an angle, so there'll be less collision in it, so you can get closer to survivors to hit them. You'll get more hits like that. That's a little thing. I don't know if I'd call it a tech. It's not super techy. You're really just looking up. Share. Yeah, a little tiny snack, but it's something. And then also like there's ways to do things. Like 90% of the time, I'd say you want to walk backwards while you're reeling survivors in. That's not a tech, but that's just what you're supposed to do. And a lot of slingers, they'll just walk forwards and they'll be like, why did the survivor break so fast? Or why they get stuck there. It's because when you walk backwards, the survivor's pulled in more of a straight line. It's not exactly straight. Like they still have their resistance. They're like, you know, like a little pinball. But if you walk forward, it's a lot worse, and they're going to have way more control over it. So that's something. It's not a tech, but that's what you want to be doing. Just walk backwards. And then if there's like objects in front of you, just make sure you're looking up. That's like the only thing I would consider close to being a tech, really. And then
shoot them and hit them. That's the tech.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, hey, that's why I love Slinger. He's so simple, right?
Yeah, so this is just more like general advice stuff rather than techniques, because he's not really a techie type of killer.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not super techie. Like, you're not going to be doing anything close to like a Wesker hug tech, like in terms of stuff you need to go
the harpoon
in and learn.
Tech.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But
if you could give like a new Slinger player, someone starting Slinger for the first time, like just a single piece of general advice, you know, like you could just repeat one of the ones you just told me, of course, but like if you could give them one tip, what would it be?
Well, when people ask me this, usually I do talk about making sure you're walking backwards, but I'd say something I haven't really talked about is every survivor hitbox is the same. So that's how, like in a lot of my clips, you'll see I shoot over a rock and there's no one there, but I still shoot someone, right?
Right.
It's because the female survivors and the male survivors all have the same pill hitbox. Like if you've seen a visual of it, yeah, you know, it'll help you a lot more. So just picture like a Jeff. Like if you picture a Jeff running behind a rock and it's a Nia, you're basically shooting like, you could shoot like a foot above their head, but you're still gonna hit them. So that's like a good piece of advice to keep in mind. Another thing about Slingers, he's all about prediction. So that's like a lot of my shots. You won't even see the survivors on my screen, but I know where they are. Like I'm visualizing where they are at all times, like basically through the walls. Like if they're at shack and I know they're going to pass by this little gap at this exact moment, just because I know, like I just keep it in my head the time it takes, right? That's another thing you should keep in mind. So just keep that in mind with the survivor hitbox, and yeah, you're going to be landing a lot more shots.
actually really interesting now that you're like saying all of this, because like I'm getting a good bit of like connections with my main, the Nemesis, because like you said you main Nemesis. I would say Slinger is probably my second favorite killer. I mean, it's like, you know, 99
really?
and then 1, but like the 1 is Slinger.
Right.
And then like the same, like tracking people behind walls to whip them through a window or stuff like that. It's all very similar to me, at least. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm kind of like, this guy's cooking. But
No, I get it.
I kind of want to ask, do you think Slinger has any like transferable gameplay skills to other killers or games even?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
because like with Nemesis, at least, like I actively am like having the realization like, oh shit, he's like Nemesis, but you know, a little further ranged.
A little bit shorter, but yeah, they're pretty close. I mean, it could be why I like Nemi so much before Slinger. I think he is pretty similar to other killers, like Pyramid Head, Artist, I think would be the ones I'd mention, just because those killers are also about predicting where the survivor is through walls.
If you could do the thing that Nemesis does, like the whip drag with the harpoon, that would be a little fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be amazing. Definitely Pyramid Head, Artist, and then other ranged killers, kind of like Huntress. I mean, the thing with Slinger is like he's kind of similar to other ranged killers like Huntress and Trickster, but he's pretty different. The way the only comparable thing is really like the travel speed of his projectile is pretty much the same as like a full wound up hatchet. You know, I'd say he's pretty different from Trickster, but I'd throw Huntress in there along with because you also have to predict things with Huntress, like especially going for cross map snipes. Like you have to know when the survivor's going to be running this way. Right. It's all stuff in your head that you're like, you know, when people are watching, they can't really tell. So like, well, how'd you know they were going to do it? Well, you just know.
I'm doing
you
like
just
5
know.
Calculations at a time, you know?
Yeah. And then good survivors, they'll throw you off. Like they won't go like past that window at the time because they know I'm going to try to shoot through it.
And also really bad survivors will do the same thing because you don't know what they're doing.
Yes. I'd much rather go against good survivors than bad survivors any day. Most of my clips are probably on the better survivors just because, you know, they're playing the game in a very like optimal way, right? And that's kind of what I've been trained to do. But when survivors are bad, they're just, you know, running around like a headless chicken.
Yeah. That's why poker pros don't want to play with a poker noob because they don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I can see that.
And do you, just like quick yes or no, do you still play any Survivor from time to time, or is it just 100% killer?
I used to. I do play Survivor like half the time now. It's like 50% Survivor, 50% killer.
Okay, cool.
So, it used to be like 80-20 killer Survivor, but I've gotten decent as Survivor. I made that my mission the last year since I was like not in the mood to play killer at all. I've been, you know, juicing some killers a little bit.
There's a little bit as a treat.
Just a little snack.
Yeah. So when you play against your main, the Deathslinger, do you enjoy playing against him, and why or why not?
Oh, I love it. Like, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad, because I can tell immediately. Like, I'm sure it's like that with your main or like with any killer. Like, they can tell immediately.
Yeah, usually with my main, they just punch me in the face.
Yeah.
The tentacle. And I'm like, okay, that's how it's going to be.
I mean, I can't really blame them. I love punching people as Nemi. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
You could still tell right away if they're good or bad.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I'll change how I play, because if I know they're good, I know exactly what shots they're going to go for, and I will never give it to them, ever. But also, that's something else to keep in mind. Maybe I should have mentioned this earlier. You can dodge the shot. Like, you can keep dodging back and forth, and you'll give the slinger a really hard time trying to hit you, especially at like any sort of range. But the thing is, you're losing so much distance that he's just catching up to you, and then he can just M1 you, or, you know, just get a free shot on you when you're vaulting a window, whatever. So I keep that in mind. Like, I'm dodging only when I know they're actually going to go for the shot. But other than that, you don't want to lose too much distance by just like focusing on dodging left and right, because before you know it, he's just already caught up to you. Even if he's just tapping M2, like readying his weapon, like, it's boring, right? But still, like, if you're trying to win, that's kind of the proper thing to do in a lot of scenarios. Especially if you know the survivors are being very, very annoying with how they're dodging. That's what I'll do. I'll be like, okay, I mean, you can keep doing that, but I'm just going to catch up to you.
And sometimes you do need to M2 fake, because if they're too wiggly, you're not going to hit them. And then if you don't hit them, you give them distance, and then they get away, then they live, and then you get depressed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't always try to win when I play. Like, I'll go for clips or whatever, so I'll go for like most shots. I don't do that as much, like ADS faking. But yeah, like I was saying, like when I'm playing against a good slinger, I'll only dodge when I need to, and I won't give them the shots that they are going for. So most of my best loops are against slingers just because I know. And versus bad slingers, I probably have a tougher time because they won't go for the cool shots and they'll just play in a more boring way, like shoot me when I'm vaulting, whatever, just more unavoidable. It's not what makes slinger good because so many killers get free hits at windows, right? But
Right.
I love playing against slinger.
And for survivors, what do you think the most, like not just you specifically, but in general, what do you think the most frustrating part about playing against slinger is?
Probably the same for most ranged killers, the ADS faking, right? So many killers do it, like Huntress, Demo, like any killer that has a dash or projectile is going to do it, and it causes you to lose distance by trying to dodge. I think it's boring, but it's also kind of needed for these killers to get hits versus better players. That's the only part I'd say is annoying for me when I go against a slinger, because other than that, I think his kit's pretty fair because he can shoot once and then he has to reload. But with Huntress, you don't know how many hatchets she has, right?
Yeah.
But with slinger, you always have that in mind. There's body blocking involved. Not every hit is going to actually involve in a down. Like he can't just shoot you over a pallet and get a free down. Like he has to use his skill to get those downs.
Yeah.
And I just love. I mean, I'm kind of just glazing him a little bit, but I just think he's very well designed. It's like for both sides.
I mean, I hope if anyone's gonna glaze him, you would be the guy to do it.
Yeah,
like
for sure. Like I don't know, like him and Wesker, I think are the best design killers in the game. Honestly, like as far as for both sides, the fun, the counterplay, the strength, I think they're pretty good.
Okay. And last survivor question, I promise. Do you think that there is a perk on Survivor specifically that is like Deathslinger's counter?
It's a good question, I think. I mean, there's obviously made for this just because that only applies to deep wound now, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I do think haste perks are kind of annoying. Hope, maybe, just because anything that throws off my timing a little bit is going to be annoying. But then again, you have to get to end game. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm decent at hitting people. Like if they're lithing away, like I still know the distance I need to shoot them with if they have a sprint burst or whatever. But it's still gonna throw you off most of the time.
It's really satisfying hitting those, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's the best.
Like one game I was playing Oni, and then someone lied the way, and I just ran them down because I was faster. And it was like, it was so nice.
Yeah. For sure. Other than that, I guess urban evasion maybe, just because.
Really?
I mean, maybe if you're in like a really short loop and they're doing it to be annoying, it could throw you off. Anything that's gonna throw me off just a little bit, but maybe that's just more of a me thing, not like a general slinger thing. I don't think there's any other perks that like if I see it, I'm like, fuck, Yeah. I don't think there's any like that, to be honest, because he can play. Like that's another thing with slinger. I don't know. I wanted to mention this. I don't know like when the best time would be, but I guess I could do it now. Like the thing I love about slingers, he's very not bully squad. Like I'm not gonna say that. I don't really think that's a thing. Yeah. But I don't know what else to call it for now. So that's what I'm gonna say. But survivors, they like to like go down on pallets so they know their teammates nearby and they're gonna save them for free, basically.
Yeah.
With slinger, you just shoot them and pull them out. That's what I love. So he counters like those types of play styles so well. And you could do that like anywhere. Like if a survivor's like, I'm gonna go down right in the middle of this like big open area, you could shoot them, pull them to a wall, and down them on the wall so you could face the wall so they can't get the flashlight. Like little things like that, really, I just love it. And that's why I think there's not too many things like that like too many perks or anything that would really hinder him. Maybe like plot twists and power struggle, whatever, flip-flop, that could be annoying. But that's annoying for any killer, really.
Yeah, not like specifically a slinger thing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
While we're talking about perks, what perks do you usually run on slinger? And do you think there's any perks that slinger uses better than anybody else? And just what's your favorite perk?
I have different builds I use. I have like, sweatier builds. I definitely use a lot of Surge. I think that's a perk that he uses better than any other killer. And I think it's really good on him just because you could shoot someone and pull them closer to a gen so you actually get value. And, you could use that. He's, like I said, he's a slow killer. So you're going to need some good gen regression or gen blocking. Mm-hmm. Corrupt is always kind of needed. Pain res is good. That's good on everyone. But if you want fun perks that he uses better than than any other killer, definitely coup de grace, because you can get so many more hits. Like, I used to never take this perk off. It's so satisfying hitting someone, because it works on his M1 after you shoot them, which a lot of people don't realize. That's definitely a perk to throw in your arsenal.
They buffed it back in the day to give it 2 stacks per gen, so...
Yeah, so you're just pretty much always going to have stacks of it. I think, yeah, Surge, Coup, those are the perks it uses better than anyone else, I'd say.
Alright, cool. While we're talking about using things better than anyone else, and just in general, I'm segueing this via being better than anyone else, how do you feel about win streaking on Deathslinger? Have you personally ever done one? Do you think he's easier compared to other killers to do it on? And do you personally enjoy win streaking?
I've never done a win streak on him, or any other killer for that matter. I watch win streaks. Like, I'll watch like Momo do win streaks. I think it's interesting, or like Ots do win streaks. I just think it's more interesting if there's like a caveat to it, like no perks or something, or like random perks, something that hinders you and not just bringing like the strongest things every game.
Yeah,
I think Slinger, you know, I'm sure someone has told me they've hit like 100 wins on him, which I think is possible if you're bringing the strongest possible stuff, playing in the scummiest way, whatever, because he is really good at tunneling too and camping. I don't think it's super interesting to me unless there's, like I said, there's caveat, like no perks. I would do a no perk streak. I think that's more interesting to watch and to play.
okay. I'd like to see it if you end up doing it, so
yeah, I've thought about it. Like, that'd be fun.
maybe we'll see that soon.
Soon,
Soon, TM. While we're talking about playing scummy and stuff like that, the hot button issue that Behavior has said they are cooking up something to actually deal with. I'm a big fan of their communication in the recent months here. What are your thoughts on the going next Epidemic, and how often do you have people DCing or just going next on hook against Slinger?
I feel like, personally, I don't see it as much as other killers somehow. I feel like back in the day, like when he had his instant ADS, people hated going against him a lot more. I feel like people are more happy to see a Slinger and not, you know, Blight or whoever they just got like 10 times in a row. So I actually don't see it as much as you'd think, but I see it if the first survivor I find, if I hit a really good shot on them or I down them really quickly, they'll go next like 90% of the time. So if that doesn't happen, then it's not too bad. But I hate it when someone goes next immediately. It just ruins the game, especially if I waited in queue for 5 minutes. I do agree with like something should be done about it.
They're cooking. We don't know what they're cooking, but they're cooking something up right now.
Well, I hope they don't burn it.
Oh man, for sure. And how frequently do you run into the survivors on the opposite end of things, like, you know, Deathslinger fans and Deathslinger antis? And how do you feel the general communal opinion on Slinger is? I would say it's probably like at least on the good side of things, but you know, maybe you had more in the extremes.
It's the weird thing is, like, I definitely feel like I'm so much better than I was a couple of years ago when I first started uploading, but I feel like I got more compliments then than I do now. Like, I'll get Steam comments or whatever, they're like, plus rep, good Slinger, but typically I don't get like the same amount of, I don't know, like glaze or whatever that I used to get, which like I don't know why. Maybe it's just like as my MMR got higher and higher, like people are less impressed, which is fair, but I don't get too many haters either. I think people are just pretty neutral on him, which I'm completely fine with. Like, as long as you're not hating him, which I don't see a reason that anyone would hate him. I know he does have a lot of haters. I just don't really get them in my games, luckily. Okay. I just, like I said, people are probably just happy to not go against sweaty blights or sweaty nurses, whatever.
Whatever they've seen the last 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
The ghoul.
He's not like super popular.
Week.
Oh, I mean, hey, like I'm gonna be playing him. I don't care. I'm so looking forward to that. But I'll still always main Slinger, and I think people are just neutral on him. I think he's pretty fair, pretty fun for both sides. So
maybe a little positive leaning, but pretty centered.
Yeah, maybe a little positive leaning, I'd say these days for sure. I think most people, like compared to other ranged killers like Huntress, Trickster, I think people don't like them nearly as much as Slinger, right?
Yeah, I mean, Slinger just has like, he's really readable, you know, like, you know, if he's gonna shoot you, you know, when he has to reload, you know how many shots he has, it's 1 or 0.
Yeah, He's extremely telegraphed. I think people just don't like. I play him in like a more not sweaty, but I don't think going for cool shots is sweaty. I think it's fun. But people will say that all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're playing so sweaty at 3 a.m. just because I hit a nice shot, a nice flick or whatever." I just find it fun. I'm playing on optimally, right?
Yeah, instead of just waiting
to go for these crazy shots.
Yeah, instead of waiting for the window shot.
Yeah, like I'm literally hindering myself by playing this way and going for clips. Same with Wesker players. Like people will say Wesker players are so sweaty for going for hug techs. Like
lead the loop then.
It's so counterable and they're hindering themselves. Like if they played in the most boring way, you'd complain too.
And speaking of the hug tech or the bug tech, I don't think anyone calls it that. I'm doing my best.
I hope not.
Does your killer have any bugs that maybe aren't as known, or any that are known? I don't think it's a bug, but I know he can like nod while reeling in. But do you have anything interesting you'd like to share with the class?
Well, I mean, for bugs, I mean, he has like one bug that I know for sure. Like one of his guns is the exact same cosmetic as another gun. It's just a recolor, but it's the exact same. Like they just, in one update, they just fucked that up. Nobody really uses that gun anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But one thing is they keep, I don't know if this is a bug. I just think they need to do more playtesting before they release certain cosmetics, because...
Is this going to be about the iron sights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure you know, like, his best gun is, like, his default, because that's the only one that's, like, properly centered right on the iron sight.
Right.
But all these new ones coming out, like, they're so bad to use. They're not aligned properly, some of them. And I think Behavior said they were going to look into it, because they said it was a mistake. I mean, obviously it's a mistake.
Obviously it's a mistake.
Because they don't play test it. But I think that's also another trend, like going all the way back to cosmetics earlier. I forgot to mention all these new guns coming out are so bad because they always over design them. I use the default. I use the Rails Razor, which is like the really thin one, just because it's minimalistic. The iron sight is small. But all these new guns, they have like all this shit on the sides that's distracting when you ADS. Like I said, the iron sight isn't even properly aligned, or it's too small, or it's too big. Like that was probably my biggest disappointment, was that Iron Maiden skin that came out.
Yeah,
it looks so
really
cool.
Bad.
Yeah, people, the craziest thing is people say that skin is pay to win because it has like an actual sight on it, and they don't realize like
it has
that's
an
not
actual
where
sight,
it's centered.
but it's not where it shoots.
Yeah, it's like the top 3 worst gun, but his worst is the Christmas gun, just because it doesn't even have a sight, really.
I use that gun just because it's ugly, so...
Oh, yeah. I use it, too, just to, like, for a little challenge, but yeah, that's very disappointing. That's a very disappointing trend I see.
Yeah, maybe...
I guess that counts as a bug.
Maybe one day we'll get the patch, and it's just like, we fixed every slinger gun, you're welcome.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting for like a year. Any other bugs? I can't really think. I mean, he has, like, a few very, very uncommon bugs. Like I've had bug where the chain just broke like immediately, or not immediately, but like within like a second.
They still get injured, or?
Yeah, they still did, but it just, I've only had that happen like twice. So it's really not like a big deal. Yeah, it's something like to do with at the point of where you shoot them, because it like got stuck in collision like is like right in front of the barrel. I don't know. It's very confusing. I had someone explain it to me that knew about it, but I've only had it happen like twice. So
all right.
Other than that, I think he's pretty polished.
I mean, being polished is good, I must say. And while your character is pretty well polished, pretty nice, pretty bug free for the most part, the majority of DBD is not up to that quality standard, I would say. There's bugs, there's some issues here and there, but like I would say in general, communication's getting better with behavior. Like I feel an upward trend, FNAF is coming, etc. How long do you think Dead by Daylight is going to last?
Honestly, I think it'll last a long time. All these games have come out, like VHS, obviously, Texas Chainsaw, which isn't exactly the same, but all these games come out, they're like, this is the DBD killer, but it never is the case. I think this is a game that is so unique that anytime like the numbers start dropping, like maybe they run out of licenses, right?
We're never running out of licenses, let's be for real.
That's true, but like things
they're just gonna pull for more niche stuff, like
yeah, that's like true.
Bioshock,
I mean, we're getting anime. Yeah, they keep like I really love how they keep like expanding the genre of the game. We're getting anime now. Yeah, it's really cool. So I don't think it's ever dying. And if the numbers start dropping, they could just drop a DBD too. I just don't think anything's ever going to replace. I mean, eventually, like 100 years, whatever.
When we're
like anytime soon. Yeah, I think this game's going to be like very iconic for generations,
And
honestly.
it is
Like,
very iconic.
it is.
Not gonna lie.
It is. Yeah.
Because, like, even with Five Nights at Freddy's, because, like, that's definitely a newer horror media, but, like, people that grew up being fans of Five Nights at Freddy's are, like, in their 20s now. And then people that grew up with, like, iconic 80s horror when they were, like, 20 watching it, and then they're, like, 40, and now it's, like, the next generation. And then there's gonna be the next one, the next one, the next one. Because, like,
exactly.
human creativity is just gonna we're gonna keep coming up with horrifying stuff. Like, let's be realistic. I'm still hoping for the Thing chapter, you know. I'm hoping and praying.
Oh, me too.
I would main RJ McCready so fast you don't even know. No, not the Thing. The Survivor.
Okay.
I can't
I
love Nemesis, but yeah, I would.
I mean, I love the Thing. Like you said, they could always keep adding more iconic licenses. I mean, if they add the Thing in like 5 years, like the old school fans of the Thing are gonna be too old to play this game. Like, honestly, maybe. I feel like most people that play this game are like very more
20s,
younger
30s.
audience. Yeah, that's why Five Nights at Freddy's is gonna like.
It's gonna blow up.
This game is gonna blow up.
It's gonna blow
same with
up,
Tokyo Ghoul. Like, it's just, now's the best time to get into this game, honestly.
Cobruption is dead, so we don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah.
It's been for a while, but you know, we don't have like anything terrible going on right now.
Nah, it's pretty balanced, I'd say.
And now for my last question here for you, Zapples. What would be your nail in the coffin? The final thing that would, in theory, make you drop Slinger for good, forever, never come back to him? Like a change, a new license you've been waiting for years. What would kill him?
The obvious answer for me is if they added collision to every single possible thing in the game. Like, you can't shoot through any holes at all. The only thing he would have is, I mean, obviously he's good in the 1v1 still. That's his strong point. And flicks too, which are fun. But I just think his fun factor would drop so much if they actually added proper collision to things. For example, there's a shot on Midwich, which you could shoot through the stairs, even though there's no hole there. You could just shoot through the stairs and hit
Like
survivors.
the
That was
wall?
stupid. Yeah, like through the bottom of the floor. Like,
Okay, wow.
that was stupid, right? Like, they could patch stuff like that. But something that is entirely unique to this game is you can actually shoot through like all these tiny cracks. Like, I feel like any other game, they would just have invisible walls, right? I just feel like that would probably kill the killer for me. I don't know if there's any. We've got most of the licenses I'd want in the game already. So I think the only other thing that could kill this killer for me is if they had another cowboy killer. That's better somehow.
A better cowboy.
Which it just can't happen.
I don't know. What if they put in Arthur Morgan?
Okay, you know what? If they put in John Marston, so I'm a John fanboy. I'll main John Marston. Even if he's a survivor, then I'll become a survivor main.
Yeah, there you go. Deathslinger's dead. Goodbye.
Dead and buried.
All right, well, thank you so much for giving me your time this fine evening and us finally getting together to do this. It took us a bit, but we got here. This last little segment here is just going to be like where you can talk about, you know, what you're up to. If you're making anything, you want to give a sneak peek, you give us your links. I'll put them on screen. Just floor is yours. Self-promo away.
Well, as you guys know, I've been on a little hiatus for about a year now. My last video that I actually made was a year ago. So I'm really excited to make new videos, actually. Get back into streaming. I've had like a really bad work schedule, but that's finally over. I'm finally changing back. So my streams will be back. Twitch.tv/ZzZapples and YouTube.com/ZzZapples. I'm going to be making new videos soon, and maybe I'll upload on the TikTok. I don't know, but that's at ZzZapples as well.
No way.
Yeah, that's maybe we'll see. Maybe you'll get little snacks on there. Yeah, that's what I'm up to.
And by the time this video comes out, you will have had your week or so off and back to streaming.
Right.
So maybe back to a normal stream schedule. Who knows?
Yep.
Go check out and find out. It'll be fun.
Come check me out.
Go check them
I'm
out.
here. I'm waiting.
Where's here? Wish.tv/ZzZapples.
That's right. I'm waiting. Come on by.
And to those of you who are here, listening, watching, experiencing the vibe, and just overall supporting me, I appreciate you very much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your morning, day, evening, noon, or night, whatever it might be. And I will catch you in the next one. So thank you, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.
So long, partners.